Okay, I got my filter exercise open, so make sure you have week 7 auto filter project open. Should have all the samples like this ready to go. So it's just the one sample that we're working with today. Now this is going to be a little different to the EQ one. So what this is going to entail is a bit of automation. That way we can get our head around using the filter with automation as well, because that's how you're going to be using it most of the time anyway. So I've just got this little tribal loop here. And then we've got 4 loops down the bottom. So we're going to try and replicate each one using automation. Okay, let's listen to loop 1. Right, so loop 1 is the easiest one. I'm not going to say anything about it. Obviously we do need, and I haven't thrown it on there, but we do need an auto filter, so put it on your original track. And then you're going to mess around with the frequency and then the EQ curves, sorry, the filter curves as well. So I haven't automated any of this stuff, so don't worry about the LFO, anything in here. Don't worry about any of these or anything down here. I don't think I even changed resonance, so it's just automating this and then changing the filter curve to suit what's actually happening. So we know how to automate. I've gone over what these curves are, so I'm going to let you do your thing, play around with it, see if you can automate something that's close to loop 1, and then we'll go through it together and see what's actually happening. So pause the video here and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, messing around with the auto filter. So listening to loop 1, obviously ours sounds way more open. So that's telling me loop 1 has been choked in one way or another. What I mean by that is some of the frequencies have been filtered out. So I'm only hearing low frequencies here. So what that's telling me is that it's probably going to be a low pass. Let's change our filter. So it's already a low pass. By default, it's already low pass. I'm just going to bring the frequency down. And I'm just going to keep restarting the track here just to hear how low we went. It wasn't that low, because I can hear a little thud there. So I'm just pressing spacebar really quickly, just to keep restarting the track. And then soloing between these two to hear them. Somewhere around there. So it gets to here. It's opening up, opening up, opening up. And then it's closing back down again. So right here, it sounds like it's at its most open. I'm going to put a automation curve in for my frequency. Put one at the start here. I'll put the same one at the end as well. And then I'll open this up. Okay, so it sounds like it should just be all the way open. So it's like up near 20,000 hertz. All right. Maybe you can keep it playing as well, wave solo between the two. Cool. Okay, that was pretty simple. Let's have a look at what's actually happening with the curve on loop 1. All right, that was the curve. Pretty much exactly the same as what we had. So it just slowly opened up over time. Started very low. You can just hear the sub frequencies. And then it opened up so you could hear every instrument. So I had mine at around 75 hertz. And that was 78.5. So very close. Doesn't matter too much with the numbers. As long as you got this kind of shape happening. That's all that matters really. Hopefully it went alright with that one. It was quite simple to start off with. So it was just a low pass that opened up over time. Okay, let's look at loop 2. Nope. Sorry, I stopped it before the end there. Something happened at the end. Let's listen to that. Alright. A little bit more going on in this one. I won't say too much about it. Again, do your thing. Pause the video here and we'll take a look at it when you get back. Okay, that one's a little bit trickier, so it might have taken a bit more time to put in those automation curves. But let's go through it together and see if we can get this close. Just bring in new filter. So to me, it's doing a very similar thing to what we had before, as in it was slowly opening up and starting low. So I'm guessing it's a low pass again. But it's opening up much quicker and it's kind of repeating the same pattern. So I'm going to select my filter frequency here. I'm going to put this back down to what I had it before. It was like 70 something. Yep, around there. Then I'm going to open it up all the way over 1 bar instead of over, like 8 bars like before. Let's listen to loop 2 and then we'll solo ours. Okay, so that's quite similar. But this does it how many times now? Do it again. And again. And then it closes quite quick there. So we've already got this curve. I don't want to have to draw this in again. Remember, we can copy and paste automation curves. We can also duplicate automation curves. So if I just highlight this area here, remember, don't select the top bit like that. We just want to select the bottom bit. So I'm going to highlight over this this bar. Oops. Highlight this bar, and then I'm going to hit Command D or Control D to duplicate. And now you'll see I've got the exact same curve happening again. So I'm going to do that for a third time now. And we should have something similar to loop 2. So I'll listen to mine. Okay, so that sounds similar, but then something happened here in loop 2 that was a bit different. Okay, I believe it just goes back down to around here. So I'm going to bring this down to around 70-ish. Oops. Make sure you're not playing them all at once like I did just then. Just solo each one. Alright, now pretty much copied it up to here. Let's see what's happening here. So it does that same curve again. So I'm going to copy this curve by hitting Command C or Control C to copy that section and pasting it here. See what we got. Yep, so that's the same now. Now it sounds like it opens up over that time, so I'm going to pull this all the way up. Sounds like it's doing that. Okay, up to here it doesn't sound like anything's changed yet. Now it's starting to go back down. So I'm going to put a dot here. Alright, so this last half a bar seems a bit different. So I'm going to drag this one down. I'm going to switch between the two. Okay, mine was a little too low. Let's bring this up. Oops. Don't worry about numbers too much. I'm just trying to get it a bit closer. And then right at the end there, it goes all the way up. Alright, that was a trickier curve. That's what mine looks like. Hopefully I got it close. Hopefully you managed to get it close, even if you got just one of the sections right, doesn't matter. It's just an exercise anyway, so let's see what's actually happening in loop 2. Alright, that was the curve for loop 2. So it was opening up, closing, opening up, closing, we got that. Ours was just a little lower there, 70, doesn't matter too much. I won't worry about the numbers. Opened up, and then closed over that period, which is what we had. Opened up again, closed again, and it took a little longer to open up. And then it stayed sustained at the top, so you could hear all the frequencies. It stayed open. Slowly dropped back down, and then pushed back up at the end. So that was just a tricky little curveball at the end there, just to throw you off. But that's essentially the curve for loop 2. So cross-check it with yours, see where you got it right, see where you got it wrong, and then try and figure out what exactly you did. That way next time you can see where you went wrong and learn from those mistakes. And if you manage to get it, awesome work. Okay, let's move on to loop 3. Alright, loop 3, I'm not going to say too much about it. Doesn't sound like a low pass though, so it's going to be one of these other ones here. I'm going to let you figure that out for your own. But yeah, see how you go with loop 3. Pause the video here and we'll return back in a minute. Okay, a little bit of a switch up on that auto filter. Doesn't sound like a low pass at all. So I'm going to listen to it again. So it's probably a high pass there. All right, I'm going to go with a high pass. So just delete. Instead of deleting it, I'm going to right click on here, which is something you can do as well. So you can right click on a controller if it's got automation on it, and you can just select delete automation. Or you can also click a control that has automation on it, and then command or control delete, and that will actually delete the automation as well. So I've essentially just reset this back to an auto filter, default auto filter. Now I'm going to select high pass, so that's the opposite of low pass, that's this one here. It sounds like it's a little bit low there. Seems like it stays the same up until this point. I'm going to insert a point in there. And then let's see where I'm going to put one here and bring it down. And it sounds like it's rising up again. Yep, so I'm going to push that back up. Okay, I believe that's all it is. So funnily enough, the last one was actually harder, but we did use a different curve this time. So let's take a loop at loop 3. As predicted, high pass filter, and this was the exact curve. So went all the way down, which was 26 Hertz, and then back up to around 8. But yeah, all that matters is the shape itself. So it was like a little stayed sustained for those first 4 bars. Then it dropped down over the next 4 bars, all the way to the bottom. Stayed the same for 4 bars, and then back up for another 4 bars. Okay, that was loop 3. Now, last and final loop. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to play this. All right. I'll let you listen to this and I'll let you play around with it while you pause the video. Again, just play around with this as much as you need to try and figure it out. See if you can figure it out, and then we'll come back and take a look at loop 4. Okay, that one's a little bit trickier. How did you go, and did you manage to figure out how to replicate that sound for loop 4? So what I'll do is show you a way that's similar, but it's not correct. Listen to loop 4 again. Slowly filters down. And then filters right down. Nothing. Right. Here it sounds like it's high passed. Here it sounds like it's low passed. So high passed at the beginning and then low passed at the end. Now we could just go in and let me delete this. Just got a stock standard auto filter. We could try a band pass because that will give us the high pass and the low pass. So if we automate this over time, let's say around here, I'm going to automate the frequency. Something like that. So it's pretty much just going down. Let's just solely between the two. Sounds similar. But when we're in the middle here with the band pass, we're missing a lot of upper end and lower end. Whereas this has almost everything. And then it's starting to sound kind of similar again. So with the band pass, it sounds similar here and here, but in the middle, it's completely wrong. So how did we get that? If you manage to figure it out, yes, there are actually 2 auto filters on it doing opposite things. So one is a high pass and one is a low pass. When I've got the filters like this, completely open, one's a low pass, but it's the frequency is all the way up, and one is a high pass, but the frequency is all the way down. We're hearing everything in the blue lines, so we're hearing all the frequencies. I'm going to pull this frequency up for the high pass, and then you hear it start to get rid of all the low end. That's what we want. Now I'm going to automate this. So I think it's about here. Once we get to about the middle, bring this all the way down. Okay, that sounds the same. But now the high end is starting to get filtered out. So the low pass is kicking in. So what we can do is grab the low pass filter. Now we automate this from here, from the middle, and then we bring this one down. Let's just play it from here. Okay, that sounds close now. So the high pass has this curve from top to bottom, so over 8 bars. And then the low pass has the exact same curve from top to bottom over the next 8 bars. So we had to use 2 auto filters in that case. So let's take a look at loop 4 and see what's actually happening under the hood. Okay, so yes, 2 auto filters. One is a high, one is a low. That was the curve for the first one, so don't worry about numbers too much, but basically it's high passed at around 8,000-ish, which opens all the way up. And then the other filter kicks in. So if we just click this curve on our low pass, and then that's the same curve again. So in fact, yes, we had to use 2 auto filters there. And that gave us the desired result. So props to you if you managed to work that out, to use 2 auto filters that were doing the opposite thing to get that effect. This was a little bit trickier. I did want to throw something like this in there just so you were aware that you could use auto filters in that way. You don't have to use just one filter. Like I showed you, we could get something close with the band pass, but all that information during the middle just wasn't the same because it was filtering out the high end and the low end, and we just had the mids. Whereas here we had everything. So to get that effect, we do have to use more than one. And yeah, keep that in mind with audio effects. You can use more than one audio effect to achieve your desired result. You don't have to try and get it all within the one plugin. So that was our little filter exercise and our EQ exercise. I hope you enjoyed those and that you learnt something valuable. What we'll be doing in the next quick video is I'll be going over those other few effects that I mentioned at the start. Then after that, we'll be looking at our tracks.